happens every day in the world.
Is that
it's happening right now?
Is that how Blanket was born as well?
I used a surrogate mother, or my own sperm cells. I had my own sperm cells and my other 2 children. They're all my children, but I used a surrogate mother. And she doesn't know me, I don't know her. And
many people don't believe Michael was her biological father. Paris responded by saying, quote, "He is my father. He will always be my father. People that knew him really well say they see him in me, that it's almost scary."
Every day, children are born through surrogacy. It's something that happens all over the world, including right now. But when Michael Jackson's children entered the conversation, surrogacy became part of a much bigger mystery. Michael himself once explained that Blanket was born through a surrogate using his sperm. According to him, the woman who carried the child was not someone he personally knew, and he described all 3 of his children as his own. Yet for years, people have continued questioning whether Michael was actually the biological father of his children. Paris Jackson has repeatedly pushed back against those claims, making it clear that Michael
understand that she's saying her dad never lied to her, but your dad lied to you. Because let's just keep it real. She's a white girl. And she's a beautiful white girl. She's a beautiful white girl, but she needs to stay real with herself. Whether her dad was her real dad or not, she's still a white girl. He was a black man.
Michael was her father and would always hold that place in her life. She has even said that people who knew Michael personally could see him in her so clearly that the resemblance was almost unsettling. But now, Orlando Brown has once again thrown the Jackson family into the middle of a storm. Brown has made a series of explosive claims surrounding Michael Jackson, including allegations about Paris Jackson's biological father, the identities of Michael's other children, and even his own bizarre claim that he could somehow be connected to the Jackson family. For years, internet speculation has focused heavily on Paris. Her appearance became the center of endless online debates, with people questioning how she could look so different from Michael. Those theories became so persistent that Paris eventually addressed them publicly. And according to the people pushing the rumors, her explanation wasn't enough to silence the questions. But Paris wasn't the only Jackson child caught in the controversy. Her older brother Prince has also faced years of speculation about his biological parentage. Both Paris and Prince were born to Debbie Rowe, who was married to Michael Jackson during that period. And then there was Blanket, whose birth circumstances were completely different because Michael publicly acknowledged using a surrogate. That distinction only created another layer of questions. So if people were convinced Michael wasn't the biological father of Paris and Prince, who exactly did they believe their biological father could be? One of the biggest names repeatedly mentioned was Michael's longtime dermatologist, Dr. Arnold Klein. The rumors intensified in 2013 when Klein posted a picture of himself with Prince and added a cryptic caption. Almost immediately, people began interpreting the post as some kind of hidden admission. The speculation became so intense that Klein was eventually asked directly about it. His answer was simple. He said he was not the father. Klein also maintained that he believed Michael and Debbie Rowe were the parents. But that didn't stop the conspiracy theories. Some people online claimed Klein had been pressured into denying the rumors and suggested that legal agreements or confidentiality arrangements could have prevented him from saying anything more. Then came another twist. Rumors circulated that Klein had supposedly wanted a paternity test involving himself, Paris, and Prince. But no definitive test ever settled the question. Klein died in 2015, leaving the speculation unresolved. Not long after that, Prince found himself responding to someone online who claimed Michael wasn't his biological father. Prince's response focused less on genetics and more on the man who actually raised him. His message essentially emphasized that Michael was his father because Michael had raised him, along with his siblings. And that brings us to another name that has repeatedly surfaced in this story: British actor Mark Lester. Lester was one of Michael's longtime friends, and after Michael's death, he made a statement that immediately attracted attention. He claimed that he had donated sperm before Paris was born, leaving open the possibility that he could be her biological father. However, Lester also said he would never force the issue. He explained that he would only take a DNA test if the children themselves wanted one once they were old enough to make that decision. Lester even pointed to physical similarities between Paris and his daughter Olivia, as well as similarities between Prince and Lester himself. His position was essentially that the decision belonged to the children. But Lester's former wife, Jane Lester, publicly disputed his claims. She reportedly accused him of making the story up and suggested that talking about Michael Jackson was one of the only ways he could attract media attention. Then another person entered the story. One of Michael's friends, Jason Pfeiffer, claimed that Michael had privately told him that Mark Lester was actually the biological father of his children. According to Pfeiffer, Michael allegedly made the statement while discussing his children and Debbie Rowe. But once again, there was no publicly confirmed DNA evidence establishing the claim. And then the rumors took an even stranger turn. Another name began circulating as a possible biological father for Paris Jackson, Macaulay Culkin. Yes, the Home Alone star. Culkin was one of Michael's close friends and was among the people who publicly defended him during some of the most difficult periods of his life. He also had an unusually close relationship with Paris. Macaulay was even named her godfather. The two became known for their friendship, and their matching spoon tattoos became another detail that internet investigators used to fuel speculation. From there, the rumors spiraled. Some people began claiming Michael had chosen Culkin as Paris's godfather so he could maintain a fatherly relationship with her without publicly identifying him as her biological father. Others went even further, suggesting that the matching tattoos were somehow connected to Paris discovering that Culkin was allegedly her real father. But again, none of these claims have been publicly proven. And just when the story couldn't get stranger, another rumor appeared. This time, the speculation wasn't only about Paris's biological father. People started questioning whether Debbie Rowe was actually the biological mother of Paris and Prince. The claims became so widespread that major entertainment outlets were reportedly discussing the possibility before the Jackson estate pushed back against the story. At the same time, Michael's own comments about race and his children's appearances were repeatedly dragged back into the debate. Some people argued that the children's lighter complexions didn't make sense. But those arguments ignore the enormous range of appearances that can exist within families, especially when genetics, ancestry, and assisted reproduction are involved. Still, the rumors refused to disappear. One particularly explosive claim alleged that Paris and Prince were actually born through surrogacy and that the embryos allegedly didn't involve Michael's sperm or Debbie Rowe's eggs. That claim, like many others surrounding the Jackson family, remains disputed. But then the story took an entirely different direction. Because suddenly, people weren't just debating Paris, Prince, and Blanket. There were rumors about another alleged child, a supposed hidden daughter. And according to the stories circulating online, this alleged daughter was reportedly a white woman living in the Netherlands. Her name has been identified in some reports as Mohsin Petit Jackson. She reportedly sought a paternity test through the Los Angeles courts, claiming that Michael Jackson was her biological father. Her alleged story is incredibly difficult to process. She reportedly claimed that her mother was Dr. Barbara Ross Lee, the sister of legendary singer Diana Ross. She further alleged that she had been kidnapped when she was only 9 years old and sent to Belgium as part of an elaborate scheme supposedly connected to Michael's family. The allegations became even more disturbing when she claimed the people involved had later died in an alleged attempt to conceal what happened. But there was a major problem with the story. Barbara Ross Lee reportedly denied being the woman's mother and said she had never met Michael Jackson. So once again, there was no confirmed evidence resolving the allegations. And then Orlando Brown entered the picture. Brown didn't simply repeat rumors about Michael Jackson. He also claimed that he himself had a connection to Michael. According to Brown, he was allegedly one of Michael Jackson's secret or arranged children. This wasn't the first time he had made the claim. The allegation became especially public during a 2018 appearance on Drive Phil. Brown's manager had reportedly arranged the intervention because those around him believed he was going through a serious personal crisis and needed help. But once Brown appeared on the show, the conversation quickly moved in a completely different direction. Instead of focusing entirely on the intervention, Brown began making shocking statements about Michael Jackson. He claimed Michael was his father. And he went even further. using the name Prince Michael Jackson Jr. while referring to himself as Blanket. When asked about the name, Brown claimed it was a nickname he had given himself because his alleged father was Michael Jackson. The statement immediately stunned the people around him. But Brown's manager offered a very different explanation. He argued that Brown had been struggling psychologically and had burned bridges with many people in his life. According to him, Brown had repeatedly made bizarre claims, including saying that Michael Jackson was his father and that he owned Neverland. That leaves one enormous question hanging over the entire story. How much of what Orlando Brown says should actually be believed? That is where things become complicated. Brown has made many statements throughout the years that critics have considered shocking, confusing, or deliberately provocative. So it's impossible to treat every claim he makes as established fact. At the same time, some people online believe the repeated attempts to dismiss Brown as unstable could itself be part of a larger narrative. Their argument is simple. If someone makes disturbing claims about powerful people, labeling them as unreliable can make it easier for the public to ignore everything they say. But that's a theory, not proof. And that distinction matters. Because when we're talking about Michael Jackson's children, alleged paternity, hidden family members, and claims of secret arrangements, speculation can quickly become mistaken for fact. What we do know is that these questions have followed the Jackson family for years. What we don't know is whether any of the more extreme allegations are actually true. And Orlando Brown's latest statements have only reignited the conversation. So now the question is yours. Do you believe there could really be another hidden Michael Jackson child? Do you think the long-standing rumors surrounding Paris and Prince deserve another look? Or is this simply another chapter in the endless stream of conspiracy theories surrounding one of the most famous families in entertainment history? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see another deep dive into one of the most controversial celebrity stories out there, click on the next video.